Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this very special session on beneficiation, technology, process, and value addition. Before we go actually to this session, I would like to say a few things about 12th Asian Metallurgy. As many of you know, Asian Metallurgy show had started in 1997 as a ground show. We used to conduct it at Goregaon BEC, and then after COVID, we shifted to the whole show to the digital conference, a digital format, along with our other conference also. And since last 3 years, we are doing this show on digital platform. In 2021, we did it for the first time, and encouraged by the response of the industry, we did it in 2022 as well. And then again, due to good response from the industry and the benefits which we understood that digitalization can give us, we continued it in 2023 as well. So this is where we are. Just to tell you few numbers, in 2022-21, we could reach to around 5.5 viewers. In 2022, we could reach to around 7.4 or 7.5 viewers. And this year, we are expected to reach to around 1 million viewers. So that's a great advantage given to us by digitalization and the social media, of course. So, taking this advantage into our stride, we are here for this 12th edition of Asian Metallurgy. Now, what is Asian Metallurgy? Asian Metallurgy show consists of two things. One is the global exhibition, which is again virtual, and this is you can view that exhibition on steelandmetalexpo.com, the website. And the other part is the webinar. We have from 18th to 23rd, 22nd, in the 23rd of this month, we are conducting series of webinars on different subjects related to steel and metals industry. Like on first day, we had discussed about the future of auto industry. Why? Because auto industry is of interest to steel and metal both. Both for auto body we use steel, for engine we use steel and metal parts. So auto industry is the customer industry for almost all metallurgical streams. Then we discussed about green steel making. We discussed about digitalization in metallurgical industry. We discussed about zinc as a metal and the future of zinc in the industry. So now today we are discussing beneficiation, technology, process, and value addition. This is a very important subject. India is supposed to have vast reserves of iron ore, but unfortunately, out of these vast reserves, some reserves are of low grade iron ore. That means they have lower content of Fe. Now, if you want to use it for steel making, we have to have certain percentage of Fe in the iron ore. So to increase this percentage of Fe, we do a process called beneficiation. Simple. And for this, the heaps and heaps of these low grade iron ore are lying outside our mines. So this is how in last decade or so, this process of beneficiation came into limelight. And many companies have adopted to this process and beneficiated iron ore to make it useful for blast furnace and other steel making processes. So here is now we are discussing beneficiation, and with us we have dignitaries and we have experts on the subject. So I would like to introduce them. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Narendra Singh Rathod. Mr. Rathod, good morning and welcome to you. Mr. Narendra Singh Rathod is Masters in Engineering from IIT BHU with PG Diploma in Business Management and Administration, having more than 54 years of experience. Sir, that may not be the age of many of the viewers which are watching this episode. So fantastic experience. He has been associated with execution of largest and most modern fertilizer and cement projects of his time, namely Sindri Modernization Project, Kajarhat, Chenur Cement Project, L&T Cement, Alwapur, Gujarat Ambuja Cement, Kodinar, etc. Since 2003, he is involved in development and design of mineral beneficiation processes for iron, manganese, and chromite ore bauxite, kaolin, feldspar, silica, sand, and pelletization projects. He has executed one of the most efficient iron ore beneficiation plant with several distinguished features going to be future trend for Indian industry. His latest contribution is to recover microfine iron ore particles, resulting into higher yield and utilization of waste tailing. He is deeply involved in continuous development for conservation of minerals and its effective utilization up to 100%. He is associated with number of foreign design institutes, technology providers, and equipment manufacturers for further improvement in existing process technology and equipment designs. Great contribution by Mr. Rathod in all these more than 50 years. And thank you very much, sir, for joining us, and welcome. Then we have Mr. Dr. Suresh Chandra Khattoi. He passed in mechanical engineering from REC, now NIT, Rourkela in the year 1978. PhD in metallurgical engineering from IIT Kharagpur in the year 2014. Received management training from XLRI Jamshedpur and Administrative Staff College, Hyderabad. Job experience is of 40 years in the industries. He worked. Hello?
Yes. Now, please carry on.
Yeah. He worked for a short duration in Indian Oil Corporation in the year 1980. He worked in Mekon in the year 1981 for steel plant equipment design with VN United of USA. He worked as a head of Orissa Sponge and Limited, and was involved in transfer of sponge and technology to India from Alice Chalmers Corporation of USA in the year 1982. The plant the plant was the Asia's first commercial sponge iron plant started in Koenjar, Orissa. Presently working as MD of Minmet Consultants Pvt.Ltd and in project engineering consultancy since 2010 in design of plant and machinery from different mineral to metal. He is also associated with different companies in China, Russia, and India. Patents and awards. He holds patents on sponge iron making in tunnel kiln and recipient of many awards in India and abroad. Membership. He is life member of all the following institute: Institute of Engineers India, Institute of Metals India, Indian Institute of Welding, Indian Institute of Mineral Engineer and Institution of Valves, member of Mining Minerals, Metals and Materials Society of India, 4MSI. So here is Dr. Khattoi. Thank you, Dr. Khattoi, and welcome to this show. Thanks for sparing time. The third expert we have is Mr. Priya Ranjan Prasad. Mr. Priya Ranjan Prasad, Director of Steel Making at Lloyds Metals Energy Ltd. He did his graduation from IIT Kanpur, Mechanical Engineering in 1983 and then General Management Program at CDEP in France. He joined as a graduate trainee at Tata Steel Jamshedpur and worked for 31 years there. He was chief at agglomerates responsible for O&M and 6 MTPA pellet plant, 7.6 MTPA sinter plant, and inbound logistic for entire raw material requirement of 10 MTPA steel plant. Then he then served as chief operating officer of SR Steel Odisha for 6 MTPA pellet plant from December 2015 till May 2018. After that, he joined BRPL, Brahmani River Pellets Limited, as Chief Operating Officer in June 2018 and became the Managing Director of BRPL in 2022. He is now with Lloyds Metals and based out of Mumbai. So thank you very much, Mr. Prasad, for joining. And we have Mr. Rathod, Mr. Prasad, and Dr. Khattoi with us, and we will start discussing various aspects of beneficiation. As I told you, beneficiation is a process to upgrade iron ore to increase the percentage of Fe. Maybe the numbers these experts will tell us. And first, I would like to go to Mr. Rathod. Mr. Rathod, what are your initial comments on this subject? Where does India stand as far as beneficiation is concerned? And are we going in the right direction? These are the questions which I want to ask at the last to all of you. But you can start with your opening comments. You are not audible, Mr. Rathod. You are not audible. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Now, is it
Yes,
audible?
yes, yes. You are too close to the screen. Anyway, you can. Yeah,
Anyway,
now it is better.
so first of all, I will thank you for giving me this opportunity to express and share my opinion on beneficiation. And on this subject, I have been working for quite a long period.
Hmm.
My target was to utilize the low grade iron ore or the waste generated from the mining operation.
Hmm.
But uh, very sad to share my thought. एक हिंदी में कहावत है, माले मुफ्त और दिले बेरहम.
Hmm.
India has been blessed with rich ore. So when we have been getting rich ore, we have not bothered about the future. And today we are lagging behind with many countries on this subject. Also, the adaptability of the new process and technology is also very poor, because in our country, the economic viability of the industry, the way medium and small size entrepreneur calculate, we technologists don't understand their way of calculation. And so many things are not adopted. Now, I have noted down some points: acceptance and adoption of technology and process. Uh, to give an example, we have established coarser iron ore beneficiation very well and very economically. Even from the jigging process, the hutch which is generated, there is no method to beneficiate it further by jigging. So we have come out with this. Yes, are you saying something? Hello? Huh? Nothing. So,
Please continue. Please continue.
so this is one of the wonderful process. We can beneficiate minus 5 mm to 25 micron. This equipment we have, uh, rather I have brought to this iron ore industry from some other industry, and it is performing very well. So for sinter plants, at least it is a boom. The jigging reject can be beneficiated and they can reach to a much higher level than the parent minus 10 mm ore which they are doing it in jigging. But it is not adopted well. Why? The economics calculated by the users and the seller, that is different. And the 57 grade ore is accepted for center feed by many industry, and that ore can be brought to 61, 62. But that is not happening. The main reason is the calculation by the user are also not proper. To my knowledge, the liquid metal cost, it goes down if your rich ore is there. And this, my great friend are here. They can only on this subject enlighten more. But What I learned as of today, it must be 1,400 tons, 1,400 rupees per ton of liquid metal if you improve your feed grade of enter by 1%. So if you are able to increase the feed grade by 3 or 4%, you can imagine the cost of liquid metal, which is contributed by this center feed. So that is one. Then second challenge is now process for goethite, limonite, and other minerals which are weak magnetic. So already many companies have come out and this process that by roasting and partial reduction of this ore, it can be converted into some percentage of magnetite in it and can be very well
Sir,
beneficiated.
let us go into details, but let me have initial, comments from other two also, so that we can go into detail. What is?
Okay.
Huh? So let me have, yeah, I'll come back to you, sir. We'll have details on this, and let me go to Mr. Dr. Khattoi, and let me have his opening comments on this subject. Dr. Khattoi, you are mute. Yes,
Okay, you able to hear me?
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Asian Metallurgy and Chandenkar ji, for giving us the opportunity for the discussion and all. As Mr. Rathor said that this future and upgrading of lower Fe content iron ore to higher grade, there is no question of if now, because with that CO2 emission coming into picture and this Paris summit and Glasgow summit last year and our commitment to bring down this CO2 emission to greenhouse effect, we have no choice to upgrade the iron ore. Point one. Point two, since we do not have much more iron ore as we are thinking, because we are thinking a generation only. If you forward it for another two generations, we'll be importing iron ore to run our blast furnaces. So sorry to say this, where nobody is going in this direction. And for that reason, we have to beneficiate low grade ore. Mineral conservation will be done by that one. We have to do reduction roasting of BHQ, BAJ and all. This is all technology has been established. In my detailing, I'll tell that one. We have worked on this reduction roasting 5 years back and it is successfully done. And presently, few people have started taking it commercially, and that gives us the maximum. So coming back to beneficiation, because there is a compulsion today, because of the CO2 emission, we need to upgrade it to higher so that the CO2 emission comes down in the ultimate steel production. So this is will be my submission to all of you that we need to do that. What Mr. Rathore has said is correctly said. He has taken it to higher level from 57. Yes, there's absolutely no problem. In reduction roasting, it goes much more than that. Detail will be coming back to that one. But BHQ, BHA, all other thing as a mineral conservation, once you do that one, because if we are thinking of 300 million tons by 2030, then it will be possible, maybe 40 or so, or 35 or 40. We need and 430 million tons of, I don't know, concentrate for doing this. So it's a very high volume. And if
Sir,
you
just one correction.
yeah,
300 million tons of capacity. That means
capacity,
at
yes.
80% utilization, it is 240 million tons to be produced.
No, 300 million tons of finished
Of
product, steel.
capacity, steel making
What
capacity.
meant? Yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
is not
But
steel
for I am talking
production.
of iron ore requirement. Iron
No,
ore requirement will be
so at
1.5 times.
80%,
Yeah.
at 80% capacity utilization, it will be 240 million tons of production.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for
Okay.
240 million tons, whatever iron ore is required is required.
Yeah, it's 1.5 times. You can take that
Yeah,
as simple
1.5
as
tons.
thumb rule.
Yeah,
Right. 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 But
correct.
taking that into consideration, and in the long run, we are talking of that is a paradigm shift from like no carbon to green steel and all, if you take everything into consideration. So we need to do that one. We have no choice
Yeah.
left actually.
Yes, yes.
It becomes a compulsion and all. So with that, I'll tell that reduction roasting is taking over as a mineral beneficiation, because we have normal beneficiation as gravity, magnetic separation, and within these two we are playing, whether it's a spiral, or whether it will be a cyclone, whether it will be a floating column, whatever methodology
Yes.
or jigging or whatever we are following is one kind of mechanism. And there are a lot of advancement has been done on this processing now, and the efficiency has gone very high. So that way, as Mr. Rathore is doing the designing part of it, we are involved in design as well as the final product. So
Mm.
we are getting the results. So with the advancement and all, even if column flotation earlier we were doing for the product, today we are putting it the reverse. We are taking out the impurities out. So that way the product becoming much higher in quality and all.
Okay.
So these are the things we'll come back in detail. So this will be the main
Definitely,
summit.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your initial comments. And now over to Mr. Prasad. Prasad, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for asking me to join for this webinar. Let me begin with, I'll restrict my talk on iron ore beneficiation. There are many people doing beneficiation, and as you said, chrome ore beneficiation is taking place. Of course, beneficiation takes for gold ore also, on a very small scale, but uh,
Yeah.
very valuable. I'll restrict my talk primarily on iron ore beneficiation.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So to begin with, as my previous speakers have spoken, iron ore beneficiation in India is very nascent stage at the moment, and they're all responsible for that. Uh, there has been a concept of high grade ore and low grade ore, a medium grade ore. What Almighty has given ore. It is not high grade, medium grade, and low grade. It is we who have created that high grade, medium grade, and low grade. A narrow view of using only high grade ore. Earlier days we used to use only high grade lump ore. From there we have come to utilization of fine sort through sintering and pelletizing.
Yeah.
The time has come that we look at the ore body as ore body and use it to make steel. That is the responsibility that we have. I would say time has come 10 years back. We have not done it, but we need to do it. And we must do it. Technology is available for doing it. That is number one. Number two, the biggest challenge is, of course, equipment is available. It is capex that is required. And it has to be done because what as a miners we have been doing is we have been segregating the ore into different Fe grades and dumping the ore grade below 57, 58, which is not correct. Also, some of us do only de-sliming, and the slime which is anything between 51 to 56 grade, again it is dumped somewhere, which again is not correct. I'll just give you an example of what happens elsewhere. Let's say China, which is the biggest manufacturer of steel in the world, more than 50% steel is produced in China. They don't have huge reserves of iron ore the way that we have. But whatever they have is grade of 48 to 50, that grade of ore that they have, and they do beneficiate and convert it to 62, 63, or even 66. Some are magnetite, some are hematite. Even they are doing DHQ and BMQ also, beneficiating and using it for the purpose of steel making. So it can be done. It's not that it cannot be done, and we should be doing it. In BR here, where I was earlier, we have taken one step and we have installed some equipment, particularly the high grade magnetic separators. We do that work, and it it's going to be commissioned this month or next month, January. So they will have this. They had beneficiation development, but that would bring down the tail to somewhere around 50, 51, but not less than 45, which is mandated by the government at the moment. So that is being done. So some steps are being taken. That is point number 2. Point number 3, a very big challenge to beneficiation is management of tail. Whatever tail you make, even if less than 45 or less than 40, what do you do with that? Because that we primarily have wet beneficiation processes. We generally don't dry. And dry is anyway not very well established, except for what Mr. Rathor spoke about the jigging process. But the jigging process is not a dry process. So what do you do with the tail? That's the biggest challenge, which Government of India has formed a team to look at it. It has to be dumped, and it has to be dumped into a place which is most of it in either forest land or some places where you can make a dike and you use it as a tailing dam. But then if you look at, let's say, gold ore, you do 1,000 tons per day and you get 5 kgs of gold. The rest everything is dumped anyway. So there are ways and means and processes of doing it. Of course, availability of land in our context is very difficult. We have 1.4 billion people and the land is restricted. So that's again a big challenge. That what do you do with the tail? Of course, there are processes available of paste thickener, etc. But then finally, that solid has to be put back somewhere. One process is that you put back in the mines itself. But then mines life must reach that level where you can put it. That's a big challenge for beneficiation on a large scale. I just wanted to flag that point. And I have spoken about China being doing a great job in beneficiation of iron ore. So the ore that goes for either sintering or pelletizing. Sintering may or may not need that association. But of course, I know JSW in Tornagalu, Bellary, they are beneficiating or using for sintering process also. They do it for 3 millimeter to 1 millimeter size. There are many experts there who know much more of beneficiation than I do. And they are using for sinter making. Pelletizing, definitely we should do by grinding and liberating at whatever liberation size. It needs a lot of research and a lot of lab work. And we have very good established labs in Bhubaneswar or in Nagpur where we can do this work and can go for beneficiation. And the need of R is to beneficiate iron ore and generate more wealth for a nation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Prasad. And yes, beneficiation is the way ahead, combined with pelletization, as you mentioned. And yes, China is the leader in all this. In fact, all these years we are wondering still. China doesn't have iron ore; they import iron ore, right? Still, they are able to export steel at the lowest cost. So
Yeah.
of course, there must be some hidden support systems and all that, some subsidies and all. But still, this is a fact that China imports most of their iron ore, which because China has a very low grade iron ore, and they import and they are able to export the steel at the lowest cost. So this was, we were wondering for all these years. So now again coming back to Mr. Rathor. Mr. Rathor's
Just one point, sir.
yeah, please.
China.
Yes.
They said that they produce 10 to 900 million tons of steel.
Yes.
And most of it is through BF route or BFEF.
Yes.
So even for 800 million ton, they would need about 1,200 million ton or 1,300 million tons of iron ore. That's what they would do.
Yes, yes.
There, they do 550, 560 of lower grade ore with the yield of about 35 to 40%. So only about 150, 200 million tons of ore required for their production is from China. Rest, everything comes from outside.
Yes, it's imported. Yeah.
But then
still
that
they are able to
550
make the
million,
steel at the lowest cost.
right? But the 550 million tons at the mine, they do very good beneficiation.
I think there, sir, one more point is there that we have to, of course, beneficiate and pelletize and reduce the carbon footprint of the steel making. Agreed, and reduce the energy required for steel making. Agreed. Reduce the time required for steel making. Agreed. But should we not also consider using low grade iron ore in our furnaces? Should we not develop processes for that? That on one hand we have to do beneficiation and pelletization, I agree, but from other hand we have to also innovate processes which by which our furnaces can accept low grade iron ore also. I think China has done that some research in that direction as well. Anybody wants to?
Okay, I'll have to look at it. I have not looked from that perspective.
Yeah.
Low grade ore.
Yeah, I think I can intervene here. If
Yeah,
you
please go ahead, Dr. Khattoi.
See, what you have told is right. China doesn't have much of iron ore, but that's not the correct statement because they have they have magnetite which they're beneficiating and taking it up. But most of they are not using it and conserving for future and importing. That we must
So
remember that.
strategic imports.
Yeah, this is a strategic move, which we are not doing in India. That's what I am putting emphasis on this.
Okay.
So that is one point. Regarding low grade ore directly reducing, what you want is technically possible.
Yes.
As you have seen, I have a patent on that tunnel kiln. No, we do tunnel kiln anything and everything you put it, I will do a sponge iron and take it off.
Yes, yes.
Not a problem. Apart from that, they are directly from iron ore fines liquid metal. There are 4 or 5 processes are going on across the world. But the reasoning, energy. What is the quantity of energy we are using per ton of liquid steel? If you have impurities like silica and alumina, you don't take it off and don't upgrade it. That will also consume that much of energy.
Okay.
And it will not be economically viable. That is the major drawback for which we need a beneficiation so that you take out the impurities out and don't unnecessarily waste it.
I know.
Another beneficiation advantage is our policy must change. In the mines, we don't allow people to do the beneficiation because of the royalty and the tax we are imposing. Its grade is going up, so you have to pay so and so
Per
tax.
ton, the royalty is calculated per ton.
Yeah,
right? Yes.
per ton basis on the grade. So
Yeah.
people take these impurities along with iron ore to different distances, unnecessarily wasting the energy of transportation. Again, as Mr. Prasad said, where to take the tailings. But if it is in the mines pit head, you have taken the material out, your minerals, that slime can go back to that filling of that mines itself. And at the same time, CO2 storing will be done in the mines because when you go for that sequestration of this carbon dioxide, you have to put below the mines and then put this slime above it and cover it up. So otherwise, you will never able to achieve that carbon neutral. Not possible.
So maybe the royalty can be charged on Fe content, not on the quantity.
Yeah.
I know.
Correct.
This is what
So
you are
that some
suggesting.
policy correction is required.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
very much
Policy
necessary.
correction
You are
is
rightly said. Correctly said.
Yes. Royalty should be charged on Fe content, not on the
Correct.
quantity of ore.
Not
Okay.
quantity. Some changes.
Yeah, Mr. Rathor, you were wanting to say something in the beginning. I stopped you. So please continue. And please comment on what Mr. Prasad said, that there are certain challenges, and he elaborated certain challenges regarding beneficiation and pelletization. So that also you can touch upon that subject.
I do have lot of experience on Chinese beneficiation plant. I have visited many plants, all
Sure,
kind
sure.
of plants. Yeah. So first thing, they don't have iron ore deposits. They have two types. One is magnetite, second is hematite. Magnetite grade is less than 40%,
Yeah. Yes.
and that they beneficiate because it is easy to beneficiate magnetite.
Mm.
Second, uh, there must be some mechanism because they are processing the plant. I have visited one plant in Anshan, which is based on 22% Fe, banded hematite quartz kind of feed ore, and from 22 they upgrade it to 65%. So it can be very much uneconomical in today's, but they are doing it. 7 million ton, 9 million ton plants are there who beneficiate from, say, 22% hematite. I'm talking, not magnetite. Second, in China, they have the practice because when they beneficiate the ore, it becomes fine. And all the blast furnace in China, they are based on feed of sinter along with pellet to make its optimum density. So they have now they have converted the ore, beneficiated it into a fine how to use it. And for that, there is a technology for sintering where you can use all kind of fines, that is granulation and then sintering. Surprisingly, in India, when we suggest this technology, it is not, it means, accepted. They are following it. So the thing which is happening somewhere, we don't want to make effort because we have the lump ore available. तो मजबूरी में ही हम लोग काम करते हैं, ये आदत डाल ली है. ठीक है. दिस इज वन पॉइंट. तो इसी तरीके से बेनिफिशिएशन में भी सभी तरीके की चीजें हैं. अब कंजर द टेलिंग, अगर आप टेलिंग, if you bring down the tailing grade, once we have experimented it in, now it is 4 months, earlier it was Eurobond. So we have cultivated rice on a trial basis on a very small plot, and the yield was better than the virgin land, the nearby farmers. So this we have experimented, but it is quite complicated. If we are doing the taking out the iron ore and beneficiating it, we are not adding any chemical, and then it is the natural deposit. Even for that clearance, the pollution department says you bring the what you call, uh, and there is a test for poison testing, that is, क्या है? Huh? Toxicity test. You bring the toxicity report. So that depends on the entrepreneur, how he takes it up. These are the challenges. There are many challenges. Now, the process which we have established, even its adaptability, uh, very much surprising. -5 mm के ore को you are beneficiating it and upgrading. So it is quite easy, and this is a permanent plate magnetic separator. It doesn't require more water like HGMS. It doesn't require electricity. So many things. And 5, 6 plants are using this. Even after that, it is still to go. So that is acceptance of the good things, new thing, that is big question mark. So everything can be made available. Either it is available in India or it can be uh, brought from outside, provided it is accepted. So सिंपल प्रिंसिपल है बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का अगर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी लोअर है देन दे आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड and scientists and technologists are not going to do by themselves. Second, we have been working continuously in this direction. Uh, Now, another challenge is to recover less than 25 micron in our existing beneficiation processes followed by us. And now, in many areas, the Fe content in less than 25 micron is very high. If anybody does the analysis of their tailing, they can see that the Fe grade of minus 25 micron is very high. So this is another, we have come very close to it. Maybe within a year we will establish this. Now, this industry somehow, I've categorized in two parts. One is the larger and others are medium and smaller. So this industry is also facing the problem of manpower, right manpower, and manufacturing of beneficiation equipment in India and evaluation of benefit from the beneficiated ore. How they are beneficiated? They just see, वो इतने में मिल रहा है, ये इतने में मिल रहा है. That has not to be done. तो ये जो challenges हैं इंडस्ट्री के, मैं कई बार I have been talking about the manpower from your platform, that this is one part of it. Recently, I have seen a beautiful plant closing down just because non-availability of manpower.
Hello, Rathor sir.
Yes.
If you are saying non-availability of manpower, then what is the solution? Can we
Solution.
start some? Can we combinedly, you people start some course in some engineering college or some postgraduate or some industry personnel के लिए?
No, sir.
You start some course on beneficiation and pelletization.
Sir, let me
What is the fun in
explain you.
only highlighting the problems?
After I quitted my job in 1989 December,
Yeah.
I have that talent to train the people,
Yes.
and I have trained them also.
Okay. Good. Good.
But unfortunately, engineering colleges from 92 onward, I have made effort to guide them for, means today's education is a certificate education of engineering. It is not a engineering education. 80% of the engineers coming out of that is diploma and degree, they are not employable. This is the government record.
Yes. Yes.
So government has,
finding. Yes.
so all these engineers, the plant which has closed down, I suggested them that you will not get the manpower. The day they appointed me as a consultant, I told them this will be your challenge. So you start training your engineers under my guidance. You select the person who can work with you. I will train them. They opened a training center, kind of a room given me, but I said I will charge some amount. They say, okay, you charge. So then what happened? They spent some money, made a classroom and lecture room, whatever, At the same time, they started recruiting the freshers directly and taking into their industry. Then I said, I am a fool sitting here. I closed down in one day. When we agreed that for 3 months you will send your freshers to me, but so the industry is working very, very typically, and big giants.
I agree.
Oh,
Individual experience may be different for different people, for different institutes, for
no,
different.
no, sir, hold on. For engineering college, there is an incident when the director of the college took me to his college. We have the interaction. There has been no response. Then I share one experience where the chairman of the college instructs their director and the principal that we must train at least one batch under Mr. Rathor's guidance.
Hmm.
They never responded. So when they are in the college, they have the high spirits, and the degree is and the marks are, that is the only target for them.
Let us not.
So
Yeah, yeah. ठीक है sir. Individual
this can happen only when that
experiences
big
may.
industries, they have the training center. The larger industry like Steel Authority of India, Tata, L&T, they
Yes,
have their training center.
they should
That's how they
emphasize
are
on that.
surviving
Yeah,
and
understood.
doing well.
So anyway,
But
so what we are saying, and point well taken, Mr. Rathod, that there is a need, dire need of training and increasing
yes,
the manpower in this area of beneficiation and combined with pelletization. So
yes,
coming back
there
to
is.
the challenges part, sir, there are three types of challenges. One is technology challenges. One part is technology challenges. The other is commercial challenges, and the third is policy challenges. Right.
Yes,
So we have discussed about the technology challenges, and you have all the three have commented on it. I want to draw your attention to commercial challenges. When I say commercial challenges, I have been hearing from some corner, some associates in the industry that beneficiation and pelletization is not always viable. Sometimes because of the price it is viable, sometimes because of the price it is not viable. Standalone, I don't know. Still, standalone pellet plant, can it be viable? At some price level, it is viable. At some price level, it is not viable. That is the statement I am making. Please comment. Starting from Mr. Prasad. Standalone pellet plant, because we cannot discuss about beneficiation in isolation. You have to combine beneficiation and pelletization, then only the complete discussion can take place. So please comment on this issue, whether the standalone pellet plant is viable.
Well, I mentioned about logistics.
Yes.
Logistics is in India is a big problem. Very expensive, and that's the biggest challenge for any standalone pellet plant. Otherwise, pellet plants are very much viable. I have got one such, many other ones. The thing is, uh, we take to export more than in India. There are two, you rightly said, there are two types of pellet plant. One is standalone, one is
Captive.
attached captive. Captives have got no problem. They increase the
Even
burden percentage.
pellet plants, sir, sometimes the main company bypasses the pellet plants and directly uses the iron, depending on the price levels of
So
different.
most of the private players, they have a combination of sinter and pellet.
Yes.
They are doing fairly well. Somebody using 60-40, somebody using 40-60 or 70-30, whatever, but they are doing fairly well. The Steel Authority has just made a beginning of using pellets. So far, they have been using either only sinter and lump ore. And they have their captive mines given by Government of India. Which
You were also managing a captive pellet plant of
yes,
SR.
they also need to upgrade themselves and run their captive mines more efficiently. they should have pellet plants. They are just making some steps in that direction. But that is primarily on BOOT basis, build, operate, and own and rent. So, and smaller ones, 1 million ton, 1.5 million ton, whereas their requirement is huge. If they, my suggestion, if they stop using lump ore and buy the pellets from these standalone pellet plants, it will be good for them. It will be good for a standalone pellet plant and good for nation also. Rather than exporting it, it can be used in
how would commercials support?
Commercially, it is viable.
Okay.
Using lump ore and not using the complete mining, it's not a short-term view. I mean, the long term, it will definitely pay. And also, they have huge dumps, slime as well as dumps, which are fairly high grade in the sense that they are somewhere around 55 to 60 grade, which can be beneficiated, turned into pellets and can be used. So I see a very, very positive outlook in their companies and commercially very much viable.
Okay.
Even the standalone pellet plants who have a grinding unit and a beneficiation unit, if they start beneficiation at a higher scale, they become viable because the recoveries and the yield goes up, and that itself will pay for the cost of putting up the beneficiation. That's what we are doing in DRPL, and we took Dr. Khattoi's help also in doing that.
Okay.
He designed it for us along with.
So you are saying standalone pellet plant has a critical size above which it is viable. Smaller.
I'm not saying that. Standalone pellet plants are
smaller plants are viable.
Both are viable. 1 million ton, 4 million ton, of course 6 million ton. There are no standalone pellet plant. In fact, DRPL is the only standalone plant at 4 million ton. Otherwise, everybody is less than 3.
I see.
Ruptas have many now, 2 or 3 pellet plants, and they are investing into.
But they are captive, sort of. No? They are sort of captive.
They have their own mines at the moment, which is, they will have in future also.
Okay.
But then they are not using for captive steel making. They are selling in the market.
Oh.
They have some steel making capacity.
Okay. So they have something backward integration. They have mines.
Correct. And they are putting up beneficiation plant. They're doing a very good work in beneficiation.
Great.
They started with 700,000 tons, then they did 1.4 million.
Yeah.
Now they're putting 2 million ton more beneficiation.
Yes.
They will go on doing beneficiation. So beneficiation is technologically possible, commercially viable, and the need of hour for everybody. Only thing we have to look at a larger picture rather than a myopic view, high grade, low grade, immediate profitability. If you look at and we have huge reserves of BMQ, BHQ, BHJ. We have to go in that direction. That you convert, as was pointed out earlier, that 28, 30 grade ore to 66, 67 is possible. And throw out only silica with Fe grade of 7-8%. The silica percent could be as high as 82, 83. This is silica. It can replace sand in your construction business. Of course, logistics problem is there, but then it can be done. It's not that it cannot be done.
Okay. Dr. Khattoi, you want to comment on this?
Yeah. See, I'll cover out 2-3 points which Mr. Prasad and Rathor has covered. But let me answer your point first. Viability of pellet plant standalone. Okay.
Yeah.
So how this dynamics works? If you go back a little, I'm giving a reference. Pellet plant was getting iron ore from the mines, were making some profit. With this social media everyday price coming out, so the control went to the mines people. Today they will say, what is the price of sponge iron? They immediately change the iron ore price, leaving 500 rupees for this industry people. So it became a horrible situation. Many plants got closed down. You remember that?
Yeah.
Same thing is happening today with the pellet plant people also. Because if you do not have a backup of mines, then you are monitored by the price of the mines owner who are selling you the mines. So that is how this dynamics is changing, and sometimes they are making very high profit, sometimes they are making losses, sometimes 0. It is how it is coming up. But standalone, as Mr. Prasad has said, it is a profitability, and they can always manage because government do not have any price control over these minerals. So that is one point. Second point, as you rightly said, we need to beneficiate at the pit head. If we don't do, we are carrying out. Pipeline transport is one of the major things. So why should we carry out silica alumina in the pipeline? Should not be. Why should we carry out the silica alumina in the trucks, in the train? So we have to have the policy to beneficiate at the pit heads, at the mines, take
Hmm.
out this and upgrade our Fe content, as you rightly said. And I will request you to move it to the ministry. Last time we had 15th and 16th of this month PMI, we were doing the training for what you rightly said, for
Hmm.
this pellet manufacturers association and association. We made almost 85 people who trained them skill development. So that
Hmm.
was the fifth one. So we have done several things.
Okay.
Tata has the training center by themselves itself. So many plants they have the training itself. But as Mr. Rathore said, engineers don't want to come to the site anymore. It's a white collar job in the software.
They want to sit in AC cabin, sir, now.
Yeah,
Most
software.
of the metallurgical engineers are going to IT industry.
Yeah, IT industry is taking most, and there is a lot of scope in IT industry. Every day your telephone's software is changing.
And
So
look at the salaries also. Who will remain with you with such low salaries? They will go to high
yeah,
salary
yeah,
jobs. No?
yeah. You are
We are not
rightly
also
got.
pay. That is also one factor. We are not paying our engineers well.
Yeah,
Compare
that is the
compare it
right
with
point you have
IT.
got.
Compare it with IT. Why we are not paying at par with IT? You can expect a young man having wanting to enjoy on weekends and all. How he will stay with your industry? He will not.
Right, you rightly said the point. It should be more than the IT. Until and unless you do that, people will not come. You
Yes,
very rightly pointed out the main culprit which is there. So we only saying will not do. Salary has to go for the because
absolutely,
maintenance is a
absolutely.
thankless job. Yeah,
Salary and environment, working environment.
right, right. And the other point what Mr. Rathore said, the minute you do a beneficiation, everything is in powder stage, the
Hmm.
final stage. So you need to agglomerate, whether it's a pellet or micro pellet in the center, or you make briquette. That is also a possibility.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
this new emphasis on that CO emission, this Valley people have already done the briquettes and directly going for the reduction of these briquettes in place of the pellets, and they are very successful now because
Yes.
yeah. So in long run, that may be another area where one stage will be eliminated, or from the green pellet directly making sponge iron, that which we have also already done in India itself. And as for the technology, you have already known that all technologies are available in India. Coming back to commercialization, problem with Indian manufacturers or plant people, they don't want to take any chance. The minute you give them this any technology, the first question is where it is working. Can you show me a plant?
Yeah, that is the first
So
question.
until and unless somebody takes this responsibility, it will never come out. After a long time of reduction roasting, BMM is path is now going for a reduction roasting in a commercial method from BHQ. We already tested it, successfully found out all the details and everything, and it is giving a very good result. They are going for the BHQ mines for this purpose. But look, it took almost more than 5 years to convince people that go for reduction roasting. Look, once BMM comes out, you'll find it will be like mushrooming. So the first thing somebody has to take the responsibility. That will be another area for this technology and all. And uh, okay, so upgradation of this goethite or coletic ore and everything, technically it is available. There is absolutely no problem. Policy changes will be required, which has to be taken up for the agency like you and all who are already in touch with the ministry and all. This time, Deputy General came, Swapna Bhattacharya, I have requested him that please, now you have understood the whole thing and please take up with this ministry and all. And for green steel, yes, for that sea energy and all, we have also showed him a lot of demonstration and all. Probably they will be moving. So we request you in this forum to take it forward. And every technology is available, commerciality is also available. That's not a problem. And taking it forward for making a iron ore beneficiation or any mineral beneficiation, so called. whether it's ilmenite, whether it's chromium, whether manganese. Everything is possible through our reduction roasting, and it gives much higher. From 57, 56, it can go to 65. There's absolutely no problem.
Okay, now like we are talking about discussing the challenges. As I said, three types of challenges: technological, commercial, and policy. So coming to the policy changes, policy challenges, I think what is emerging out of our discussion is that if there is a need of some pilot plant in this area, why can't some institute like NIST or some institute of attached to Ministry of Steel should take up this plant project? If somebody, as Dr. Khattoi was saying, somebody there has to be some first customer, to prove the technology or to experiment on the technology. So I think there is some role for the government or the government agencies, or some laboratory like NML, or some institute like NIST, National Institute of Secondary Steel Technology. They should take up such plants, they should take up some such projects. And I think our forum, if there is a pelletization, pellet manufacturers association, they should take up with the government or Ministry of Steel for such a thing. Secondly, if I feel that if some plant of for beneficiation or pelletization has to come, or if somebody has to invest in this plant, there has to be some soft financing which is available, which should be available for these areas where we feel that this is a national loss. Lots of heaps of low grade iron ore are lying there outside mine, and we have to convert them into high grade iron ore. So this is a national loss, and which we are avoiding. So I think there should be some soft financing available for such projects. So I want your comments and your suggestions in this regard. Policy making, uh, challenges in policy making, or suggestions in policy making, starting from Mr. Rathod. And even,
Sir,
sir, just a minute. Before you start, I want to say that we were talking about some training. Why,
yes,
in fact, that also that some postgraduate diploma or postgraduate 6 months course in beneficiation and pelletization also can be conceived by some agency like NML or like NIST, and they should conduct this course. Why should individual person like Rathod or somebody would fight against the agency, fight against the system, and try to introduce such course? The government itself should do it, no? The trade body themselves should take interest in such course, and they should come out with such course. It will be beneficial to the industry at large and nation. So, I solicit your comments and suggestions in this regard, starting with Mr. Rathod.
sir. On the manpower side, this degree is needs to be evaluated by some agency, because the product doesn't match with the qualification which they get a certificate. We have made a joke of the engineering degree, and there are many, many jokes on engineers floating on every social media.
Sir, all of us are
That
engineers.
is the real,
Sir,
that
all
is
of
the
us are
reality.
engineers.
Huh? So, anyway, this is one of the policy matter. देखिए sir, हम
Unfortunately.
from where, no, from where we started and we are. Overall, our system is day by day deteriorating. I am talking about 1960-64. I got entry into engineering college. At that time, there was no competition. It was simple merit, and we were taken. So the merit of education was maintained by the various educational boards. Now, when we have diluted that, then we have started selection of the candidates through competition and so many other things. But the way we are now, after say for even for the education system, there were B.Ed, M.Ed, LT kind of degrees. Now it has no meaning unless they have made another examination, national teachers eligibility test, like that. So every day we deteriorate the quality of our education, and we make another system to evaluate it. So this whole thing has to be understood at a national level, that why can't we have a proper standard of education, right? And this, whatever you are seeing, we are seeing, it is a outcome of that. So this is one of the policy matter, that the quality of education needs to be reviewed, and there should not be any competition further after that qualification,
So
because
what
we
about this? What about this soft financing for beneficiation and pelletization projects?
pardon,
What about the soft financing for beneficiation and pelletization projects?
stock financing,
Soft, soft.
Soft
soft
financing.
financing, सर पहले तो जो इंडस्ट्री है उसका कुछ इंटरेस्ट होना चाहिए। मैं बता रहा हूँ, आपके प्लेटफॉर्म से 2008 से अभी तक दो तीन बार मैं बोल चुका हूँ,
Yes,
that
yes.
is integrated pellet plus DRI plant, which has huge benefits, because you make the get the concentrate, make the pellet, you have only one part of the pelletization unit, that is the traveling grade, and after that it is a sponge iron kiln and the cooler. So the heat energy is utilized, the productivity is there, everything is there. This sponge iron industry is not interested in having such a beautiful thing. Why? This this technology was with German company Autotech. They were trying to sell it in India some 5 6 years back or 7 years back at a huge price. China has technologies, and they have the magnetite ore. They go for blast furnace and pelletization and sinter. Their requirement is different. They have magnetite ore.
Yeah,
So,
we are hematite.
but they too have made a combined pellet plus DRI plant in China. Unfortunately, that is not there now after the Olympic. We can make that kind of, and it is economically viable. It is not very expensive. I'm there to support the complete engineering of that. Maybe somewhere I will need the help of the sponge iron experts, but can integrate, and I have been talking this for many years. Now this technology is one thing
Can I,
which is very much needed, because our process in India, secondary steels, we need the pelletization and the DRI. DRI is not there in other countries. Otherwise, they would have developed. If China had the DRI, they would have developed that technology and they developed it. But even for our requirement, we are not taking any interest.
Okay, okay. Point well taken, sir.
These are the challenges. So first of all,
Pratap,
our,
can I answer this?
yeah,
Yeah,
See,
I'll
as
come
you
to you,
right.
Dr. Khattar.
Okay,
Dr.
okay, fine,
Khattai,
fine,
I'll come
fine,
to you.
fine. Okay.
Yeah, so point well taken, Mr. Rathod. Let's move on to the other panelist. Okay,
और एक सजेशन है मेरा सर,
please, sir.
ये ये जो कंपनियों के बड़े बड़े मालिक और एग्जीक्यूटिव्स है ना,
Hmm.
इनका एक ट्रेनिंग कोर्स आप कभी कराया करिए, बिकॉज इन मैनी इंडस्ट्री आई हैव सीन इट है। वो ट्रेनिंग कोर्सेज होते हैं सीनियर लोगों के लिए, सो दैट दे अडॉप्ट समथिंग, कुछ अच्छा लगे, कुछ चीजें मिले।
Okay,
Yes,
let's try.
please,
So
please
now
go ahead.
I go to Dr. Khattoi. You were saying something, sir?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Please,
I
your
just wanted
comments
to
also on
add
the
what.
policy, your comments on policy challenges.
It's me for Mr. Rathor.
Yeah, no, no, no. He has already commented. Now your comments,
Okay, okay, fine, fine.
your
Okay,
Dr.
I'll
Khattoi,
first
your
answer.
comments on the policy challenges.
Okay, okay. I'll first answer Mr. Rathor's
Yeah.
question. This particular thing which you said that pellet come DRI. Fortunately, I am also from the DRI side. So we designed a plant for IMMT Bhubaneswar. And we also, this Autotech which they have made, that was our concept, discussion with Autotech to take it forward. So, but the Chinese people, what they did, because when I was doing my research, at that point of time, I had gone to China. Those two plants, we started this one, they did not succeed actually, it closed down. So the integration of pellet with DRI making did not succeed there. The reason being, pellet, we are taking our product at 1300 degrees C. 1300 degrees C, we cannot put this coal and convert it to DRI. So we have to somehow cool down. Point one. Point two is until and unless we recover the heat, the cost of pellet will go very high. So we in the cooler, we take out the heat, put it back to the system. So that is another point where we cannot do that one. From the cooler, if you take out at maximum at 500 degree, then convert it to a DRI plant, that is giving that sensible heat of 500 degree will give you the outcome. So that way we designed a plant for IMMT so that you can have the pellet as well as this. Ministry still gave up to certain amount. So when this from 5 crore it went to something like 14 crores. So that further sanctioning was not done and it stopped there. Maybe some point of time it will be taken forward. So we have that one and we have done some work on that one. That is
Sir,
answering your that.
Chandekar ji,
Yes, sir.
Chandekar ji, can you allow me to just on this point throw some light?
Yeah, let him complete. I'll come to you before going to Mr. Prasad.
Okay, okay,
Don't worry. I'll come to you
Okay.
before going to Mr. Prasad. Is it okay,
Okay.
Mr.
Next.
Prasad?
Okay, another thing which you
Yeah.
asked is basically what are the challenges? Challenges on policy changes. Challenges in the policy changes, the people who are sitting in the policy making, they must get that kind of a exposure, what is happening at site. Because when they are making this policy, whatever we are writing from here for two, three agencies, four MSI, then IIMS, mineral, all this agency, when we are writing to them, then something is happening. But otherwise, we are finding that whatever they are deciding, fortunately for the policymakers nowadays, we are getting one letter that yes, this is what we want to do. What are your comments on this? So then we are doing a brainstorming and accordingly we are giving them the answers. But otherwise, main policy making people who are there are not very much aware of what is happening at the field, and that is what Mrs. Swapna Bhattacharya also told that, okay, after seeing everything in the pellet plant, what we have thought and what is happening, there is a lot of gap. So I am going to certainly take care of it. So that's the assurance he has given. So this is basically for that policy making and agency like you can take up because you are interface between the site people and the ministry and all. So that will be, I'll be requesting.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Khattoi. Before going to Mr. Prasad, a quick word from Mr. Rathod. Rathod, sir.
डॉक्टर साहब कहीं गए हैं सर
Acha. Mr. Prasad, you can please continue on the challenges in the policy making.
Uh, I would say that there is some change taking place in the policies toward beneficiation.
Okay.
And I had said earlier also, Government of India has formed a team
Yes.
of some very, very experienced people
Mhm.
and who have been into mining, who have been into this kind of a work.
Mhm.
And some of us have been consulted, taken our views.
Mhm.
They are coming up with a draft recommendation.
Yeah.
So policy change is taking place. But as you know, our socio-political, economic condition is very much different from other developed countries.
Yeah,
So it may take time. Your second question was about soft financing.
Yes.
Uh, Finance is available. I can give you my own example.
Finance is available for making films also. Finance is
I-
available. I'm talking about soft finance.
It is soft financing. We
Acha.
got it from bank
Okay.
at a very, very nominal rate
Okay.
because we could prepare the DPR and
Hmm.
prove them. And it's a very small investment, about 100 crore investment that we are doing and in Brahmani River Pellet Limited.
Okay.
And the bank was willing to finance it. They say that it's very, very much viable and you can take it. And they have sanctioned it. Now it is up to us whether we take it or not. But then it is available. Point is, if you want to do it, and we must do it, we'll get it. Technology is available, government
Policy is
policy
in
is
place
available,
and finance is
finance
available.
is available,
And it is viable. And it is
Mr.
viable.
As viable. And Mr. Rathor has said that the people have to be willing to do that. He's very right that it is the people who put in their money, they must be first convinced or first trained that
Then
yes,
why, if you are saying everything is in place, the technology is in place, the commercialities are in place, the policy is in place, then why there is not much interest, or I would say disinterest in this regard?
uh, give me first
There,
using this
there may
word.
be something wrong, na? There must be something wrong.
Forgive me for using this word.
Yeah. Go
We all
ahead.
believe in as a nation we believe in shortcuts. This danda padega we will not do them. And time has come.
Yeah.
The high grade ore that we used to talk about is not available. Even the Chhattisgarh ore, which used to be
Yes, yes.
66 plus, is not there now.
Mm.
Alumina levels have gone up. Sale is facing that music, and that's why they are investing in
Yes.
food, etc.
Yeah.
So that is my view. I mean, I may be 100% wrong, but I think
Okay.
that is what it is.
So before actually closing down, a quick word from Mr. Rathod, and then my last question, I would put up my last question to all of you. Mr. Rathod, you wanted to say something on Dr. Khattoi's comments. Mr. Rathod, you are mute.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
you
is
wanted
it
to say
okay?
something.
Now is it okay?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Go
please,
ahead.
please.
This integrated pellet plus DRI plant, what is his idea about the plant? My idea is much different than his. In the integrated pellet plus DRI plant, it is possible that the traveling grade in a conventional pellet plant, from the traveling grade, when the pellets fall into the kiln, the strength is around 60 to 70 kg per pellet. And the temperature is 900 degrees centigrade, which is ideal for a DRI kiln. So the pellet, this concept that it will be heated up and again cool down and again at the heat it is taken, no need. You have only traveling grade added before the kiln. That is all. And it happens. Now on the pellet quality, I am coming. Why do we set the pellet quality for DRI plant like 200 kg or 225 kg? Why? This is a big question mark because in other countries there are no DRI plant and pellets are used. Here we are using in the same plant when I am making the pellet. What will happen if my pellet uh, cold crushing strength is 150 or 160? What will happen? Think of that. Nothing will happen. So you can save on that energy that at 60 to 70, when your pellet is falling in the pelletization kiln, same height it will fall in DRI kiln. Today it is not breaking. The immediately when it comes to the DRI kiln, it is further heated up and reduced. So the strength is building up. So this is simple thing that you put a traveling grate in front of your DRI kiln. This is how this has to be conceived and to be done.
Okay, okay. So, sir, we are
Okay.
already very
Sir,
late.
just
I want to ask
take
you.
1 minute for this. Sir, 1 minute
Hmm.
for this. This
Hmm.
is Rathor Sahab. Actually, you go to ACCAR, which is the technology we brought for our. They had this traveling grade to the rotary kiln making sponge iron. It was there earlier. So if you go to the or I can send you that paper also. This concept was there. So it was not what you are saying. It's a good thing that you are again bringing it back. So
See,
that's a
this
very
is
good
not
thing.
this is not my concern. This I have seen a plant in China, 80 kilometers from Beijing. Unfortunately, during Olympic, all plant up to 100 or 150 kilometers were closed down. So this was closed down, and this is not the requirement of the Chinese application. So I have met the gentleman who designed this plant in China, and I
Yeah,
had the
before that it
discussion.
was Akar process. Long back it was Akar process. In
Yeah,
1980, 1980 they
the
were making
Chinese
it.
must have copied it.
Yeah,
Chinese
yeah,
must
yeah.
have copied it.
Correct.
But I have not seen their plant. I have seen the Chinese plant working very well.
Sir, we
So
are
I'll
already
send
80
you.
minutes
I'll
now
mail you that one.
हमें
discussing.
Don't it? Yeah,
we have
Sir,
to think of our requirement and
correct,
application and
correct,
make
correct.
it more and more viable. एक आपको प्रश्न देता हूँ. Why you need 220 kg per pellet strength?
No, you don't need.
अब
No, you don't
you
need. You
don't
don't
need.
need.
तो
No.
वो तो डाइल्यूट करिए उसको
नहीं नहीं वो
150
करते हैं
160
every
कर
every
दीजिए.
every presentation I talk to the people any pellet
Hmm.
presentation for DRI and 12 blast furnace what is the requirement I always distinguish and tell them this time
Hmm.
also it point was discussed
Hmm.
15th and
anyway, sir,
16th.
we are already 80 minutes discussing this,
Yeah,
and we are short of time. I want to ask you last question, sir.
yeah,
Uh, Mr. Prasad, yeah. So I want to ask you, we are already 80 minutes discussing beneficiation, and of course, associated with it is pelletization. You cannot separate it out. The processes may be separate. There is a debate in our country for last so many years about the export of iron ore, and there are very lot of angles to this subject. You know it. We all know all those angles. When Mr. Prasad was mentioning we want to take shortcuts, so I thought what was in his mind was not to beneficiate but to export low grade iron ore. That maybe that shortcut may be in his mind. I don't know, but anyway, it came to my mind that is it a shortcut that we are exporting the low grade iron ore and not beneficiating it is that was what was your in your mind, Mr. Prasad. But anyway, in any case, I want to open this subject and I want to take your opinions on this, whether we should export iron ore, number one, whether we should export low grade iron ore, number two. Starting with Mr. Prasad only.
Uh, my answer would be uh, we must beneficiate,
Okay.
and it needs investment. The policy change that we are talking about is something uh, which we have to think through, that whether we do the beneficiation right at the mines or we do it somewhere else, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has to be a combination of both.
So
It
you
has to
are
be a
saying we
combination.
should ban exports of iron ores? Because Dr. Khattoi was saying we are not thinking one generation ahead. Next generation will not. We will be importing iron ore. So should we be exporting iron ore now?
We should not be. That's what my answer.
Okay. Dr. Khattoi.
yeah. See, no mineral, which is not only iron ore, should get export out of India without any value addition. It's not a perishable item and should never go away.
Okay. Okay. That's a very clear-cut stand you are taking. That's
Yes.
Yes.
absolutely
I add
clear-cut stand.
something.
Yes, all of us
Student,
should.
I
in
add
fact, Prasad,
something more.
Mr. Prasad also has
Hello.
taken a similar stand. Rathod sir, what is your take?
You can export it, but in exchange of something, import.
What?
Some mineral you need in India,
So
in
you have to
exchange
think
of
this
that.
issue strategically.
Yes,
That's what you are saying.
yes.
If out of compulsion you have to export, you should.
बदले में कुछ लीजिए और क्या
Actually, actually, it is not a question of import or export.
Okay, okay.
It's a question of again a short-term view, shortcut. I wouldn't say short-term view, shortcut,
Sure.
or what as a nation we should be doing. It's a question of that.
Correct.
जहाँ जहाँ आप ढील देते हैं वो immediate cash बनाने के चक्कर में लोग लग जाते हैं, which is
Yes, yes.
which Dr. Khattoi also said that we have to think about the next generation and
Yeah.
next generation.
Yeah. So if we are doing so much for
That's
green steel
what-
making, so much for planet Earth is being talked about, so much of carbon reducing carbon footprint.
Correct.
So this is also one of those initiatives, no?
Correct.
Maybe yes.
and we are talking about we have 300 million ton of steel. Even if you say 80% or 90%, whatever, you
Yeah.
need iron ore here.
Absolutely.
What is the point in exporting it and then again importing it?
Yeah.
China is importing it because they do not have it.
No, Dr. Khattoi said
Some
they have
countries-
it, but they are preserving it.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
not-
true.
That part I don't agree with Dr. Khattoi. I have seen myself. Just
No,
let me-
see,
I just-
it's
just-
like
just
They will
like
not show you,
minerals
sir.
will.
They will
Let me
not show
finish.
us. Show the world.
let me finish.
Yeah, please.
I did not respond to what Dr. Khattoi said, but then these guys are mining 40 grade, 48 grade, 28 grade,
Yes,
BHQ,
yes,
BMQ, everything, beneficiating and using it.
Yes.
550 million tons they had mined last year, out of which 137 or 147 million tons was upgraded or beneficiated, and that was used. Whether they could have done 1,000 million ton, I do not know. But I'm saying out of 560 million tons that they mined last year, they used 150 million tons of that beneficiated ore. Where are we? We are not there. And some countries have taken that call, let's say Australia or Brazil, that we will mine and export. That is their choice.
That's their call.
But in our country, we need growth, we need infrastructure, we need steel.
And we need
Why not?
employment also, sir. That will create a lot of employment also.
A lot of employment.
Yes.
Australia can take that call. They are so rich.
Because they don't have people.
They don't, and their mining scale is different.
Yeah.
They load
Hmm.
30,000 tons in one rake and send it.
Yes.
We have to do 10 rakes to do that.
Absolutely.
So it's a different call.
Yes.
Our nation needs
Are different.
300 million tons steel to be produced in our country for our own usage. Maybe some 10% can be exported, or that can be trade balance. But 80 to 90% is required in our country. If not now, 10 years from now, definitely.
Yeah. See, I always say, sir, that Indian growth story is revolving around infrastructure development. Correct? If our economy has to grow, our infrastructure has to grow. And if our infrastructure has to grow, steel has to grow. So steel is in the center of our economic development. So unless the economy has a strong foundation of steel, it will not grow. So such a pivotal and core role we are expected to play in nation building or growth of economy. In any case, sir, we are coming to the end of our show. We have discussed a lot about beneficiation as a process, intricacies, the challenges, threefold challenges about technology, challenges about the financing commercialities, and the policy making challenges. Then we had also talked about the export, and the forum feels that no mineral should be exported at any cost. Correct, Dr. Khattoi?
Yes, I still go
Should be
by that
avoided.
one only.
Should be
The forum
avoided.
feels like
Otherwise,
that.
it will become political. I'm saying should be
Otherwise, it will,
avoided.
yeah. Some
You have to have
some
value addition to your mineral. Don't export
correct.
like this.
some subjects are out of the purview of the industry, so let them be handled at different level. So I think I must thank all of you for sparing your time, and it was such an intense and interesting discussion that I think there are a lot of takeaways from this discussion, and the viewers they must have benefited. So I thank Mr. N S Rathor, Dr. Khattoi, and Mr. Prasad for their valuable time and their valuable insights regarding beneficiation and pelletization. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.